College Soccer Guy, how do I write the right email so coaches actually respond to me? No one's responding to me, College Soccer Guy. Why is that? What do I have to do in my email template to actually get coaches to respond? I'm the College Soccer Guy and I help you play college soccer. Let's get into it. So, when you have hopefully at this point created your list, you've gotten organized, you know what the stages are, we then have what we call your email template. Now, I have a very specific formula to the email template, so listen very closely. Okay, dear coach. Everything always starts with dear. Do not say hi. Do not say coach, comma, dear. Okay, you want them to respect you. These coaches work really hard, and I can tell you myself as a coach, myself as a player, that when somebody comes up to me and says, Mr. Taubleeb or Mr. College Soccer Guy, I like that. It's polite. It's extra. I'm like, oh, this person is, trying to impress me. And that makes me feel good. The coaches are the same. Now, at some point, if they say, hey, don't call me Mr. So-and-so, then don't do that. But you want to come in overly dressed or overly polite. So that's why you're going to say, dear coach. And I mean every single email that you ever send should say, dear coach. So do not mess that part up, please. Now, the next thing, you're then going to write, dear coach. Then this part, I have my students say various different things. I hope this finds you well. I've read and heard great things about you, if that's true. Some type of polite intro. And this is for the initial mass email list, okay? This is not if you've already had discussions with them. This is you've never emailed a coach before, and that's where we're at right now. Then what you're going to do is you are going to have your genuine part, okay? Now, you're not going to do this. Remember, we have your mass email list. So you're not going to do this for every single school probably because you have a list of 150 schools. That's too many. But you're going to pick 30 to 50, and you are going to write something genuine for those 30 to 50 schools, which is a lot. But remember, we only do this once in the process pretty much, and then the rest of the process is following up, and it's very short and sharp emails. But this very first one, it's a lot, okay? And you want to do it right the first time. Otherwise, you have to backtrack, and it's painful. When I work with my students, most of the time they've come to me. I love when they come to me having not written any emails because they're like a blank piece of paper and I get to teach them the correct way. But if they already have sent emails, so if you've already sent an email and you're like, I want Zev's help, I'm going to reteach you how to do it. So you've got, dear coach, something polite. Then you have the genuine part. Genuine part can be a various amount of things. It could be about their style of play. It can be a connection you have. Or it could be something genuine that you read about them. So those are the genuine connection style of play. Genuine connection style of play. So when I talk about genuine, you read something in their bio that you thought was interesting. Maybe they studied the major that you want to study. Maybe they played in a country that you're from or you visited before. We had one student who visited India quite often, and the coach happened to do a lot of volunteer work in India. So of course we put that in the email, and that was really important. Okay, then the second piece of it is you've got the genuine part. Now you've got the connection, okay? So the connection would be like, I read your roster, and on your roster, I knew one of your players. So we have all of our players look up the roster, read about the coach's bios, right? This is for your top 50 to 70 schools that you do need to do this level of research for. Then you've got your 50 schools that you've done this genuine interest with. You've got a connection. Maybe you know somebody. Maybe your coach knows their coach. Connections are so helpful. And I can just tell you a brief story. I am a player, and when I was playing college soccer, if I knew the kid that was coming to try out at the ID camp and the coach said to me, hey, Zev, this guy emailed me and says he knows you from Southern California. Is that true? And I would, figure out who it was. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I do know him. The coach already wanted to know about him because he knew me because I was on the team. So if you know somebody on the team, you have to mention it. It's so helpful. So you say to yourself, okay, great, I've got a connection. Now maybe you couldn't find anything genuine and there's no connection. You don't know anybody they know, which most of the time is going to be the case. So then you need to go look up their style of play, and which is their favorite one of all of them anyways. You want to go on YouTube. Now if you can do the trifecta, genuine, connection, and style of play, the chance of them responding goes up by 95%. But if you can only get two of the three or one of the three, that's okay too. But now in this instance, you've got the genuine part. Okay, this is the style of play part. This is where in this style of play, you can mention if you're a right back. I saw you guys played a 3-5-2 against Berkeley. I really enjoyed how the right back went up and down the flanks. It's something I'm going to try and apply to my own game. That's enough. It just has to be 1 to 2 sentences. And do not, this is really important, if you decide to use genuine the genuine model, do not repeat what's in the bio. So don't say, I found it really impressive that in 2022, you won the coach of the year. They already know that. Okay, that's not genuine. That's you taking, that's from school. Okay, we don't do book reports. You're trying to be a human being here. This is actually the main reason why AI, for the time being, cannot write this part of your email. Probably can write other parts of your email, but you have to find something genuine between you and the coach. And for right now, AI cannot do that. So do not repeat something nonsensical like that, because that is just not good. Do not do that. All right, so now you've mentioned their style of play. I want to give you one more example. We have a student, Bucknell, for example. They are very specific in the email. You're going to get an email back from them if you email them, and it's going to have a whole detailed thing about how their style of play is similar to Napoli's in 2018. Now, you may not know, never seen Napoli, but they were coached under this guy named Sarri. And anyways, the point is that this coach is expecting you to go look up their style of play. So if you don't, they're going to cross you off the list and pick a kid who did, which is awesome. Now, you could do all of this, and it still may not get you recruited. My job, of course, is to give you the best possible chance, and that is what I've proven with my students. So now you've said something connection genuine. It only has to be 1 to 2 sentences, but it will take you 10 to 15 minutes to find it, but it only takes you 1 to 2 sentences. Then this next part is the template. Okay, during the template, it is very simple and very short and very sharp, okay? My name is blank. I play for blank at Boys Elite Academy, MLS Next, ECNL. And just so you guys know, whatever you say here will increase the chance of them responding. So if you're saying E64, NPL, or DPL, and you're emailing a top Division I school, they're going to be considerably less likely to respond. However, if you're emailing a small mid-tier Division III school, they may be even more likely to respond than an MLS Next person, because they're going, hey, that MLS Next person probably doesn't really want to go to our school. Or maybe they do, because every single student is unique. And even if you're playing MLS Next, the chance of you playing college soccer still is unlikely, statistically speaking. So the point is, this is where the club soccer part matters, and we made a different video on that. You can find that over here. Now, in that template part, you got my name is, I play for so-and-so at X level, and I have a blank GPA. Okay, those are the most important. Your name, which isn't really that important, but it is important because it's your name. Then you have your club team. Then you have your GPA. Then you should mention your club level, and then your position. So my name is, I play for, I have a blank GPA and graduate in the class of such and such, and I play center midfield or whatever it is. So that is the template version, okay? Now, you can add 1 or 2 accolades, not more. So do not give us a full essay on, I believe I'm a great fit for your team because I'm a hard worker, I'm really fast, and I'm strong in the air, and I'd be a great asset for your team. Coaches don't like that, okay? They don't want your opinion. You're not an expert. You don't even know what they want. You don't even know what it means to be a college soccer player, so just save it. Just save it. We don't want your opinion. And those of you who do add that in, we pretty much always know that your parents wrote that part, and we don't want to hear from your parents. None of the coaches ever want to hear from your parents, pretty much ever. So do not write us your strong opinion about why you're a great candidate. Just give us the facts. So an accolade you would add in the facts could say something like, let me put it this way, something like, I was all team, all league for my varsity team. Period. No more. Or if you got an ACT or SAT score, you would definitely put in, and that was good. You'd put that in towards the beginning with your GPA. You could also say, I was awarded best 11 for the Elite Academy showcase, which one of our students recently was. That's great. That's a fact. Okay, that is, someone else has validated you. I do not want you validating yourself. It does not work. Now, there's a couple other techniques we use in our emails. So for example, if you have another coach, college coach that spoke well of you, we can insert their quote into your email, and we'll get into that later. But for the mass email template, these are the stages. Okay, so now you've got, dear coach, I hope this finds you well, something genuine, and you've got your template and 1 accolade. Okay, this is also the same model you're going to follow with your highlight video. You're going to be, this template right here is what's going to be your self-interview, which we'll go over later. And then you're going to have your accolade, which will also be in your highlight video, but not only 1. Do not give us a list of things. Unless you're playing for the national team and you've been awarded, Gatorade Player of the Year, and you were also called into the under-20s, none of you have a resume. Okay, and it doesn't count to have a resume that you made varsity your JV year. that it doesn't, or sorry, your freshman year. It doesn't matter. You're trying to play college soccer. That is a bare minimum. Like everybody should be doing something involved in that. Now, like in my own case, I didn't make varsity soccer until I was a junior. Sorry, I never made varsity soccer actually till my senior year, which at that point it was too late. So, they don't care about your high school bit, okay? So just give us one accolade. We don't want more than one accolade. All right, then this is the part that makes it very different from everybody else's. You're going to have an ask, okay, at the end of this email template. And at the ask has to be nuanced to the situation. Now, if it's the first email template, right, it's your very first one, you're going to say one of two things. May I have permission to come to your ID camp? Question mark. Or you're going to say, may I ask if you're looking for X position for the class of X? Those are the two best questions we have that get the most responses for a couple reasons. One, if you do the ID camp one, which is personally my favorite, you have to remember these college coaches make a living off of ID camps, okay? They cannot afford to do it on their own. So, meaning their salaries. So, if you show them and tell them, hey, I'm willing to come to your ID camp, they will be much more likely to respond to your email. Because remember, that's how they survive. Now, you're like, well, that's a scam. They just do camps for money. Look, some schools do just do camps for money, but 80 to 90% of them don't. They do it literally to recruit students. If you talk to most college soccer coaches, 80 to 90% of their kids all went to their ID camps. That's at the majority of schools. The top 25 schools, okay, those kids didn't need to go to their ID camp. They were playing for the national team or the best MLS Next team, so they got to skip that part. But everybody else, including myself, who played Division I soccer on a full ride, I went to Valparaiso's ID camp. So that's the deal, okay? And I went to a dozen others. So I think you got to get that out of your head that it's a scam. It's not a scam because you have to go to them, but you don't want to go cold. You want to go with a genuine invitation, which is why we're going to ask, may I have permission to come to your camp? Now, of course, you have permission. Everybody knows that you have permission, but sometimes you don't based off of your age. And also you want to encourage them to respond to you and say, like, yes, we'd like to see you at our ID camp. Where if you use the other sentence, are you looking for the class of so-and-so? Are you looking for this position for the class of so-and-so? If so, I'd be willing to come to your ID camp. That's a wonderful sentence too, because basically what you're saying is, look, I am willing to come to your ID camp, but I just want to confirm that you're looking for my position. Because if you're not, then, and for goalkeepers, this is extra specific. Like you really have to ask that question. So most people like the second question, which is, may I confirm you're looking for X position for the class of X? May I come to your ID camp? If so, I'm looking to go to your ID camp. Now, as you know, a lot of college coaches will respond with something like, of course, we're looking for all positions. If you're a great player, then, you'll have a chance for our team. Look, you're not going to get any more genuine than that as the reality from that school. But some schools might look at your video. Like we have a couple students who send that message out and we'll get a response like, thank you so much. Come to our ID camp and we'll decide if you're the right fit for us. Okay, so that coach actually knows who you are before you go. That's great. They responded. Other players of mine will get a response like, we watched your video. We're very interested in having your ID camp. In fact, we have a specific only ID camp for those we're extra interested in. It's over at these dates here. Could you please book that one? So that's why we want to ask, because asking just gets us better responses. Some of the coaches will be like, we're looking at all positions, good luck. And you'll be like, well, that wasn't super genuine. That's correct. So maybe you're not going to pick that ID camp because they didn't respond to you in an extra genuine way. This is how eventually down the line, you're going to have to pick which ID camps you go to because you cannot go to all of them. And you're going to go back through the emails you got back from these coaches. You're going to go, this coach spent a lot of time on my video, gave me compliments. This coach basically just said, come, which one should I pick? Then you're going to weigh which school do you want to go to. And then you're going to weigh how badly they talk to you. And you're going to go, well, I really like this school the same as this school, but this coach showed more interest when I emailed them. I'm going to go to this camp. And that's how you pick which ID camps you're going to go to. So this method works well, and obviously encourage it for you. And college coaches also want to know that you're going to be going to their ID camps. So you want to tell them leading up to it. And by sharing it in the email that you're willing to come to their ID camp, they'll be much more likely to respond to you, and you want to develop that conversation with them. Again, some of them will respond with, we're just looking for players, come. And some won't, okay? You're going to get a mix of both. I like the may I have permission because the other reason you're asking permission is you could be full, okay? The ID camp could be full, and then that would be difficult. So both of them are valid questions. Okay, then towards the end of this email, you're going to have this part called I've attached my highlight video below. You're going to hyperlink it. If you don't know what hyperlinking is, basically what you're going to do is you're going to type in your name. So college Zev Taubleib or college soccer guy highlight video. And then you're going to link it. And you can do that in a lot of different methods. I'm showing it here. And then it's not that difficult. And it will just make it look more professional. Then you're going to go best whatever signature. And here's the key. In your signature, you're going to put your phone number, your email. You don't have to put your email because obviously you just emailed them, but it's a nice bonus. Then you're going to put a reference, okay? Ideally, your club coach. You're going to put their title. So if it's the Santa Monica Surf Director, you put Santa Monica Surf Director, his or her name, their phone number, and their email. And then you're going to put a photo of you at the end of the email. The reason you're putting a photo is subconsciously or consciously, photos are much more memorable than names. And so if they see a photo of you, they'll be much more likely to be like, oh, this person, I think they emailed me. That's right. That's right. They emailed me. I think I saw their video. Oh, they're at the ID camp. Let me watch them. Because remember, so many kids are going to these ID camps. Even though like you think you'll get a fair shot, coaches are human beings, okay? They're going to look at one kid more than another, and your job is to make sure they look at you, and my job is to help you make sure that they look at you more than everyone else. So that's why you're going to do this process this way. Now, make sure when you have that photo, like I'm a short person, and I was a short player, I didn't really have a photo of me next to somebody else so they could see how short I was. I picked a photo that made me look like a good soccer player, looked athletic, looked like I had a good technique, and I do have really good technique, so mine was like a ping, and it looks good. Don't give us a photo where you look awkward or something, because coaches are really picky. They will look at that photo and go, that guy looks terrible, and not watch you, because they're very picky about photos. If you don't know what photo to use, give me a call and I can help you with that. Okay, now you finished this amazing template. You are now, if you've got your video done, which we're going to talk about soon, you will then be pressing send. How exciting. Then press send, see how the responses are. If you watch the other videos, you will know how to stay organized when they respond, and you'll be learning soon enough here how to respond to them. Thank you so much for listening. Please comment below if you have any questions. I want to help you guys get recruited. The best way for me to do that is to call me. We have lots of different options. Yes, I do charge a fee, but we have free options now. We even have cheaper options. The goal is to help all of you as much as possible. So give me a call, links in the bio, and we'll talk to you soon.